Hey, school success makers. Welcome to another edition of the School Success Podcast. I'm your host, Mitchell Slater, and today we're going to do something new that we've actually never done before. We're going to try it out and see how it goes. We kind of finished our mini series where we're going through things that you guys can do to help with enrollment, since we're obviously right in the middle of enrollment season. But then we've had some just great episodes in the past, and we've had over 100 episodes for the School Success Podcast, which is just awesome. So many great people, great interviews, and just great things that I've learned, and I know you guys have learned as well. So we're going to try something. We're going to do some episodes with just highlights of the different things we've learned from the different guests we've had on, and we're going to try and piece a few of them together for each week, so you guys can kind of get a recap of some of the biggest takeaways, the biggest moments that we've had on the podcast. So that's what we're going to do. So a little different, but I hope you guys enjoy and get some little nuggets from the episodes that you can, again, as always, take back to your school to make it better than it is right now. So please enjoy this week's highlights and episodes from past episodes on the School Success Podcast. Enjoy.
At what point does that child believe that they're great? At what point does that child believe that they're supposed to be able to compete in society and that they can do well academically? If somebody's not intentional about doing that, if you don't have a great principal, because I believe the principalship is the greatest job in education, if you don't have a great principal that really can inspire and motivate, capture their hearts and make them believe that they're a part of something greater than they've ever been before, then they will fall into what has always been perpetuated in our society as schools in certain communities become warehouses for poor, cheap labor and prisoners.
While we're in Outreach Christian School, our culture is very important to us. So really, our admissions process is very specific, and that file for that prospective student goes across multiple leaders' desks in the school, and there has to be consensus that the individual is a fit for our school. So that can be, academic considerations certainly, but also behavior. And for example, we don't look to bring in seniors from another school, just in general. Most of our kids here, or most, I don't know the exact percentage, but many of our kids here are lifers. So they've been here since kindergarten or preschool, and in some cases this is the first year where we don't have babies. We've been down to cribs. We start at 6 months.
Wow.
So we phase the babies out this year. So next fall we'll start with 1-year-olds, and we only phase it out because we need the room for other grade levels.
Hey, school success makers, just a really quick break from the episode to highlight our amazing sponsors over at America's Christian Credit Union. They are celebrating 65 years of service this year, and they provide essential school banking services and a tuition financing program for schools looking to reduce their risk and administrative burden. And you guys can find out all about them on their website, americaschristiancu.com/schools. That's americaschristiancu.com/schools. They are amazing over there, and I always like to say, if you're a school that collects tuition and you have a hard time collecting all of tuition at the end of the year, maybe it comes around May, June, you're like, man, we only got collected 95 or 98% of what tuition was owed to our school. One of the things you can do is have your parents get a tuition financing loan through the credit union, and then they pay the credit union directly, and you get your funds up front at the beginning of the year as the school. So you don't have to chase people throughout the year, and you can focus on what you do best, and that is loving and educating your students. And it doesn't cost your school anything to do it. So check them out online, americaschristiancu.com/schools. All right, back to the show.
As educators, we ensure that we perpetuate all of the things that have always been done in an effort to subconsciously get back to just the way things have always been. It makes sense. We get excited about when a child from an impoverished environment, in a challenging environment, they make it. Like there was this meritocracy and they just were better and they rose above the others. Nah, they just got through. You know, they're just a bit luckier than the other kids. Like, let's be clear. If the systems were different and everything was designed for every child to be successful, without us, then we would do what we needed to do to ensure that they're successful.
Despite the challenge we talked about with a teacher shortage, I mean, God has delivered some amazing, high caliber leaders and teachers. I emphasize leaders because I made a Zoom hire, for example. I made a couple Zoom hires, but I made a Zoom hire from a guy in California to be our upper school principal. You think if there's any position you want to meet in person before you make a decision like that, that would be it. But that wasn't an option at the time. It was, spring of 2020, and he's phenomenal. And so we're very thankful for that, for sure.
Hey, school success makers, just a really quick break to highlight one of our amazing sponsors, and that is ClassReach. Now, ClassReach supports schools of all sizes from application to graduation. Take charge of your school with ease, power, and mobility using ClassReach, the school management software administrators and teachers love using. You can get your free demo at classreach.com. That's classreach.com. They are amazing people, and they provide this amazing SIS software for you to keep track of your students' grades, communicating with families that are enrolled, and a whole bunch more. So again, check it all out on their website, classreach.com. They are awesome. All right, now back to the show.
All of us have those unconscious biases and are racist in our own way, even towards our own people, because of the historical context that we've all lived through. That said, we developed a policy to where we were going to see the work through three critical pillars. One, our disciplinary practices, our parental engagement, and how we're dealing with trauma in our schools. The large overriding theme is always the rigor and the curriculum that we use, and it being one that is comparable to the curriculum that is being used in other school districts for more fluent students. However, those three pillars, the disciplinary practices, our parent engagement, and seeing things from trauma that our kids experience, was for me the way to be actively anti-racist. If you want to use the word equity, what have you, and it doesn't offend you as much, but when you start to see things from that lens, then this whole Black Lives Matters thing is not as important, because you don't have to say those things because you're doing it and you're living it.
It's relatively simple and hopefully not cliche, but I would just say stay the course. Every one of us have days, even if not everyone admits it, when we wonder if it's time to hang it up and go a different direction. During seasons of staff discontent, parent anger, and in some cases mounting litigation, the grass can definitely start to look greener in an entirely different lane. And as we were talking about, I've just been seeing so many educators walk away, some of them longtime leaders in education, and that just doesn't bode well for the future. That may not apply to all school leaders, but like I was saying earlier, I feel called to this work, to this service. And for us, our model is kingdom education. We want to partner with the parents and partner with the church. We're not a ministry of any one church or denomination, but so we have partnered with a local small C church. And so with the parents and the church, together with them, we're trying to raise up the next generation of leaders, and we're trying to prepare kids not only for college, but for life.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that recap of some of the past episodes we've had on the podcast. And as always, I'm just hoping that you guys can take at least one thing away from any of these episodes that you can take back to your school to make your school better than it is right now. There's so many great things inside of these podcast episodes that we're hoping you guys can take back and use. So if you need to, go back and scan through some of the episodes. You can read through them and see some of the different people we've interviewed, the topics that we've talked about, and maybe you can grab something from there that maybe you're currently in the middle of, or you're going through, or you just wanted some extra help or guidance on. Great way to kind of scan back through and look at the podcast. But hoping you guys kind of enjoy these kind of quick recap episodes. And as always, I've mentioned it before, we have 3 great free resources for you guys to check out. The first one, of course, is what you're listening to right now. It is the podcast. It's free, weekly episodes coming out that we want you guys to make sure you're chiming into and listening to and soaking in. The second one, we have a great Facebook community that we want you guys to make sure you're a part of, completely free. And it's called School Success Makers. So if you're on Facebook, go join in there. I'm personally in there. Love to see you in there as well. Or you can ask questions, connect with some different school leaders that are in there from all over the world. And then the last one of all of that is our School Success Report, which you can sign up for on our website currently, schoolsuccessmakers.com. In the top right-hand corner, you can click the button School Success Report. It is a weekly email that will go out, just kind of going over different articles that our team has written, highlighting some teachers, giving some articles and ideas that we have come across that we want to make sure you guys are seeing as well. So make sure you're getting that every week. Some great content that the team has prepared so we can put it out there for you guys to check out. And as always, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, or ideas, we want to hear from those, and we want to hear from you with those. So please contact us through our website, schoolsuccessmakers.com, and let us know those so we can better serve you guys. And we love you. We appreciate you. And we'll be back here next week with another awesome episode as usual on the School Success Podcast. We'll see you then.